Good day, everyone. Praise be Jesus and Mary, now and forever. I hope you are all doing fine and ready for this afternoon's discussion brought by us, your reporters for today. I am Lian El Parelia, and together with my groupmates for this afternoon, we will be discussing about the contemporary governance and the United Nations. So, let's get started. All right. So, what comes to your mind when we say global governance? Ah, Maybe it's about the process of governing globally, no? Or let's just find out. So, according to WACE 2010, global governance is a collective effort to identify, understand, and address worldwide problems that go beyond the problem-solving capacities of states. So it's not just the effort of one country, but a collective effort of the countries that are being united, no, to address worldwide problems. So modern na siya ang global governance. Move on. Another definition of the global governance, it is the capacity within the international system at any given moment to provide government-like services and any public goods in the absence of a world government. So here in global governance, naadaw tayo capacity, no, na maka-provide of aid or products, no, sa internationally sa laing mga countries without or in the absence of a world government. What do we mean by world government? So nag-search ko sa Google, ang nakabutang dari, it is also called as the cosmocracy or the concept of a common political authority for all humanity, no? Giving way to a global government and a single state or polity with jurisdiction over the entire world. So without the world government lagi daw, in global governance, maka-provide yapon daw ta o ganang government-like services and public goods, no, sa like countries or internationally. By the definition or the meaning of the global governance, we have WACE 2013 here. He said that for him, global governance is a set of questions that enables us to work out how the world is, or the ways our world are currently governed, or how the world was, or the ways we use to govern our world, or how the world could be, or the ways our world could possibly be governed. He also talks about how the changes in grand and not so grand patterns of governance occurred, are occurring, and ought to occur. The changes in the ways of governance have occurred, or the changes in the governance in the past, uh, changes are that are occurring, or the changes in the ways of governance that are currently occurring, and the future changes that may occur on the governance. So, to sum all up the definition, global governance helps us to identify the ways of governance in different periods of time and also the occurrence of the changes in these various ways of governing. Moving on, there is the uncertainty of the nation state. We will have a little bit of a storytelling, so let's go check it out. Here in the uncertainty of the nation state. So once upon a time, since the end of the Cold War, the world is heading towards a less centralized form of governance. No? Not a war. So as the United States is facing serious setbacks in the wars from Iraq and Afghanistan, many emerging countries have formed alliances. Emerging countries such as China, wait lang, China, Russia, and Brazil have formed regional alliances to create multipolar and an anti-hegemonic order. When you say anti-hegemonic order, it's basically saying gusto sila may mong independent, hindi sila gusto ma-under or ma-conquer. This development is being referred to as the post-American world, okay, wherein the United States retreats and the rest of the world advances in economic power and political influence. That's according to Zachariah 2008. So, tirino mo kita nyo ng white nga flag. That means ni-surrender or ni-retreat na ang Americans. Muna siya nga time na retreat sila and other or the rest of the world advances in economic and political influence. The sovereign territorial state or the nation state. Now, this event is in stark contrast to the kind of political entity which determine our lives. Stark contrast, which means na siya significant difference sa katong nahitabo sa post-American world. This is the sovereign state or the nation state. So, what is a nation state? It is, muna siya search mo sa Google, results. Sovereign state na siya, nga consist ni siya og kanang mga inhabitants that are of the same kind, alike sila. They share the same language and culture. In fact, most Western countries have lived under this kind of state. This kind of state has become the universal framework of social development. So, siya role model siya nga social development sa mga nation state. But however, sa kadugay-dugay niyang nahimong model, this kind of state is facing uncertainty. As the review of the notion of the nation state has the following elements. Wait lang. Continuous and broken territory. Sovereign territory. It means sila pinakabagtik, pinakagahi sila ng territory. Ito sila daw sila. Monopoly of law and of the powers of coercions. It means solo nila, ang law. Sila ray nag-implement or nagbuhat og law. Walay lain. Yan na sila. O powers of coercion. So when you say coercion, sila power nga kanang murag magpugos yun ba, yan na, diba? Bagti kayo. Rule citizens directly, not through intermediate authorities. So, rule sila direct, Dili sila, wala sila panahiran, wala sila dito na, sila na bahala, Bali sila ang dapat panahiran, ganito. And direct government and administration of inhabitants by the central authorities of the nation state represents the people, and the people serves as a source of sovereignty. So, the nation state represents the people, okay? And the people serves as a source of sovereignty. So, sila ang source of strength sa nation state. Murag, tawag na, na sila relationship, na sila mutual, relationship. The citizenry was or ought to form a homogeneous population. So, sa ilahang citizenry, dapat of the same kind lang ang population. We say homogeneous, of the same kind, alike, para sa species. Kung iring ka, iring mo tanay. So, yeah. However, the rigidity interposed by this age-old kind of setup has been disregarded several times in the worldwide events. So we say rigidity, no? Muna siyang inability to be changed or to be adapted, no? So kahit din sa trabaho, hindi sila matap gani state. So disregarded sila several times in worldwide events. Disintegration of the Soviet Union, the rise of transnational entities within states, when you say transnational, um, international kung sila, entities within states nila. Global problems requiring global actions. Nowadays, the state's power and functions have been undermined by supranational and infranational forces, as well as what we can describe as the withdrawal of its inhabitants from citizenship. So, supranational and infranational means maragapag ka ng machine national of exceeding boundaries pa sa national. No. So these supranational forces have weakened the state in three ways. These are the ways how they weaken the state. First one is the creation of supranational economy wherein the transactions are largely uncontrolled by states, resulting to the restrictions of states to direct national economies. So nag-create na ng mga supranational forces of economy, no? Nga dili makontrol sa states, no? Wala siya. That's one way of on how they weaken the states. The next one is the rise of regional or global institutions such as European Union, ASEAN, UN, to which individuals countries defer. Say defer, marahim na put off sila ganyan, postponed. Because, postponed? Because they are too small to engage in effective competition, or because their economies are so weak. Ba? Wala siya. Another one is territorial borders have been made largely irrelevant by technological revolution in transport and communications. So katudong ipang set nila nga territorial borders kay murag na siya na-put aside, murag wala na gani siya murag ginamind kayo because of the rise of the technology in transport and communications. So murag siya irrelevant na lang siya bakay syempre maka-communicate na gyapon sa sulod sa border yan yung mga transport, so mura siya na-put aside lang siya, wala na siya na makinubangan kayo ilahang territorial borders. So all for me for the global governance and the uncertainty of the nation state. I hope you learned something, and if you have clarifications, then you can just review this whole file, the PowerPoint presentation, or you can ask questions later. But for now, let's proceed to the next report.